Welcome to another round of Prem and Proper here at SDH. We'll take you through the week that was in the Premier League double match week and a lot of action to track down. We'll have some sound from the weekend and we'll get you ready for the week that will be, with some teams playing in Champions League, Europa League, and Europa Conference League. Might be interesting come the weekend as to how things lay out in the Premier League. So before we go forward, let's go backward and take you over the last 7 days. And when you look at the action in the Premier League, a lot of different storylines. And frankly, one of the biggest storylines has to do with what's going on at the bottom of the table with Leicester City. Leicester City having a rough go of it. And over the last 7 days, you end up with a 1-0 loss to Manchester United. And then you end up with a 5-2 hammering at the Amex by Brighton on the weekend. So looking back at the whole thing, and Leicester only having one-third of the incoming monies from the Wesley Fofana transfer available to Brendan Rodgers, our friends at Sky Sports News analyzed what's wrong, and it came down to 3 letters. 2 of them are the same.
So we promise you we'd talk about Leicester. Not exciting times for them, are they? There's Brendan Rodgers, 5 defeats in a row now for them. Right, what are the stats saying for us? What's going wrong?
It's not looking good, is it? It's their worst losing run since February 2017, which led to Claudio Ranieri getting sacked by the football club. Things not going well. It's been a poor start, like you say, for Brendan Rodgers. The defence, probably the biggest problem at the moment. They've conceded 16 Premier League goals so far in just 6 matches. That's the 17th worst of all of those sides in the Premier League. They really have struggled at the back. Of course, you have to remember they had a tricky summer of transfer speculation as well. There was a lot of links to the likes of James Maddison, Yuri Tielemans, Wesley Fofana, who eventually joined Chelsea as well. That's clearly had a big factor. Losing Kasper Schmeichel would have been another big factor as well. Someone that had been at the club for in excess of 10 years and had been organising that defence, which has performed so badly over the course of this season as well. And when you look at the current stats, 7 Premier League wins in just in 2022. That's really not great considering we're now in September. 7 Premier League wins. 1 clean sheet in 29 Premier League matches as well. And I think it's fair to say there's been a lack of confidence for a number of those players, in which Brendan Rodgers even said last week in a press conference that there were some players lacking in confidence so much that he didn't even think that they were in the right place to train with the first team. So clearly things aren't going well. But when you've got someone like Brendan Rodgers with all of his experience, he's now going to have to draw on that to try and turn things around at Leicester City.
Yeah, you mentioned the transfer window. What is it? Because there's a reason. What is the reason why they didn't go and get more players in?
Quite simply because of FFP. Leicester City have to be really careful about the money they spend at the moment. We know that they have a large squad under Brendan Rodgers. One of their big remits over the course of the summer and the transfer window was to try and lose some of those players that were on the fringes of the team, those that were sat in the stands for matches, those that weren't getting a lot of game time, those that were on the bench and picking up quite substantial wages. That was one of their big factors, which they didn't really manage to do. So with regards to FFP, they have to be really careful. Now, last week, UEFA announced on Friday a list of clubs that would be sanctioned with regards to going over the FFP rules. They also mentioned a series of other clubs, 19 to be precise, that they were looking into and that were being monitored. One of those, guess what? Leicester City. UEFA wants more financial information from Leicester City with regards to their FFP dealings. So quite simply, the reason they couldn't spend money was because they weren't allowed to because of UEFA's FFP rules. So therefore, the football club have done the right thing. They're trying to be sustainable. They're trying to do things sensibly. They're not trying to just chuck loads of cash at players and you know, forget the consequences. They're trying to do things in the right way. You also have to remember that Leicester City have invested huge sums of money into the infrastructure, into the training ground, into the facilities to try and improve that football club and take it to the next level, because since 2015 when they won the Premier League, they've achieved so much. The big thing is they now need to try and stay at that level, and to stay at that level, it means success on the pitch, which often means investment in the team, which is something they can't do right now because of FFP. So, yeah, challenging times. He talked about missing pieces in the jigsaw and trying to fill in the blanks. That man is going to have to get very good doing jigsaws if he's to sort out this Leicester City problem.
And Gary Neville over at Sky, when he was asked about it, has legitimate concerns about Leicester City.
I really worry about Leicester. I have to say, earlier in the season when Kasper Schmeichel, he went to Nice, and I thought, why? Why is that one being sanctioned? Because you talk about character, we just talked about Milicia down here, or Martinez, and the impact that they have. You know, Kasper Schmeichel, not only a very good goalkeeper, but you imagine the presence and the impact that he'd have on that dressing room and the comfort he would give to everybody. And you can't replace that very easily. You just can't replace that. They've lost Maguire before, they've lost N'Golo Conte before, they've lost players before, Mahrez, they've lost players before, but I just thought it was a strange thing to do. And then obviously Fofana has left as well. I'm be worried if I was a Leicester fan, and obviously rumours that the manager is in trouble. Brendan Rodgers done a brilliant job there, but
is he in danger of doing what Scott Parker ill-advisedly did and having comments that are not interpreted by the board? I mean, Brenda's been there a bit longer than Scott was at Bolton.
What else was he supposed to say, Brendan Rodgers, that you know, he expected the window to go better? I think everybody expected. I mean, Leicester hadn't signed a player up until whatever. I just find it. Leicester have been a little like Brighton. When they've let players go, they've brought other ones in. They've been pretty good at replacing them. But you just look at what's happened there now, and I just think I'm worried for Brendan. I'm worried for Leicester because, you know, winning the league, how many years ago was that now? 7, 8?
2016.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be 7 at the end of this season. Yeah.
And I look at them at the moment, and
one of the marquee matchups from the double match week happened on Sunday. It was the late one. Manchester United and Arsenal. Manchester United came out 3-1 winners, and you ended up with a fantastic effort from the new guy, Anthony. So let's take a look at what happened after the match. Here's Mikel Arteta after losing 3-1 courtesy of our friends at Sky.
Really disappointed to lose the game, especially after what happened throughout 95 minutes. We had some big periods we were totally dominant, and the moments that we were in total control, and not only that, dominating, creating chance after chance, we didn't close the game. And in any moment, you know, when they have open spaces, they're going to hurt you.
Was it not closing the game out or not defending that you think that cost you?
Both, in both boxes was the big difference. They had 3 big chances, they scored 3 goals. We have numerous arrivals, chances after chance, and dominations, and we didn't score enough goals.
Even when you were 1-0 down, you were still fairly comfortable?
I think we have a period in the first 8 minutes that we struggled and we didn't control the game. After that, it was a loss. After 1-1, it was a loss. And then the best moment, on a throw-in, we lose the ball in a really difficult place after playing in areas where we don't have to play that kind of ball, give the ball away in one pass, they are through.
2-1, you made the triple sub. Was that a gamble?
No, that was part of the options that we have, the way we want to play, the players that we could believe that he could affect, but we didn't have any time. They scored after 2 or 3 minutes straight after that.
Did that substitution make you more open? Because it was a very attacking triple sub.
I don't think so. The way we were playing, we had the same numbers in the back line against the last players that they had. We have other profiles, but I don't think that was the case.
What's your biggest frustration from today?
That we should come here and win the game, the way we play.
Because of the quality you put out there?
Because of the performance, because to come here with these boys and play the way they have played and dominate it again the way they have to play, when you are here, you want to be at the top, you have to win the game.
So if anything, you feel more vindicated than disappointed?
100%.
Then Erik ten Hag, after the match, got to face the tribunal from Sky News. All 4 guys on the pitch. Here's a sampling of that conversation.
Must be delighted. I know it's only 4 games, but I always look at Man United teams and look for characters and personality. Even today when you were under pressure, there's still composure. I never felt for 1 minute Man United were going to lose today, even when they're under pressure. And that's a great reflection on the team. I think the character and the personalities to win 3-1. They could have got another few at the end. Is that a big plus for you over the last few weeks?
Definitely. And I think your analysis is so see I at as well. I must say, Arsenal, they played well, but we defend well. And then what you say, I never had the feeling they will break us in their good possession game with a lot of movement and creativity. But we have a good defending line, but we defend as a team with all 11. And still, what I say, we can bet a little bit better pressing organization. We can keep them further away from our goal, and we can control the game more. Same as in possession, a little bit more composure on the ball, a little bit more switch of play and you control and dictate the game even more. But as I said, we are not that long in the process.
You have spent a lot of money on Anthony, who you know. How do you think he done today, and what is he going to bring for you in the future?
I think we have all seen which threat he is and which I think front offensive we can make with the speed, creativity. That is, I think, a really threat in the Premier League. And he is a part of it. And I think we missed a player on the right wing because all the players, they can play there, like Jadon Sancho, like Rashford. But they prefer more the center or the left side. Now we have the one who can play really good over the right wing. So there was a missing link. Now today's first performance here. And he did well, but I think he can step up. I know him from Amsterdam, and I know this is a different league, but there's a potential, and he will get that he be even more a threat for opponents than he was today. But I would say today already he was there, great goal. Although, and then I must mention that all the goals were really team goals. Yeah.
So focusing on a lot of the other games, we mentioned Brighton and Leicester. Brighton's week, by the way, had a little bit of ups and downs on its own, losing to Fulham by the score of 2-1 in the middle of the week, and then turning around and getting the 5-2 win over Leicester to finish their week. Here's Graham Potter after the match and the 5-2 win against Leicester, courtesy of our friends at Brighton and Sky.
Yeah, it's a fantastic afternoon for us. Great performance, amazing win. The players were incredible. To got off to a bad start and then to recover like we did. Scored 2 goals to get back into it with a better team. Conceded a poor goal, but then the second half performance was fantastic. And can't say too much other than really, really happy.
Yeah, to rewind, just how impressed were you with the speed at which your team turned it around, say, having gone a goal behind inside that first minute?
Yeah, we were disappointed, like we spoke about before the game in the midweek, so we wanted to respond, and that wasn't obviously the best response for us in terms of going a goal down. But it happens in the Premier League, the opponent's got quality. But you're looking for the response, and the response was fantastic. The boys just stuck to the task and played well, I thought, over the course of the game, played really, really well. A little bit disappointed with the 2 goals we conceded, but I'm not going to be picky when you score 5, and probably, for a half a millimetre, could have had a 6. Yeah, it's a fantastic afternoon for us. Great performance.
Spurs had a bit of an interesting week. It was going up against West Ham, and it was a 1-1 draw in the midweek, and then turning around and getting a 2-1 win at a -189 at Spurs Stadium against Fulham. Here's Antonio Conte after the win on the weekend.
Full debut today for Richarlison. He had an assist for the first goal, had a goal disallowed, and hit the woodwork. Not a bad full debut.
No, but we are talking about another player that he went into our team quickly, and he can play in all the 3 positions in up front. And for me, he's a really good option for us today. And with these 3 strikers, someone could think that it was difficult to have a balance with the team. Instead, they work very well. Sonny, Richie, and Kane. If they work in this way, they can play together.
You mentioned Sonny. Is it really only a matter of time before Sonny gets that first elusive goal?
Yeah, but he has to be...
He's done everything but.
Yeah, but he has to be calm, because also today the performance was good. He's an important player for us. The most important thing to get 2 points for the team. And then, for sure, I know during the season you can have personal satisfaction to score and to improve your scorer.
You touched on it already. The Champions League comes up now midweek against Marseille. How important in your mind to go into those games with this sort of momentum?
But my players and I, the staff, the club, I think also the fans, and we reached we got the Champions League last season, in my opinion, in a fantastic way, and we did a really, really good job with the team, everybody. Now we want to enjoy. We want to enjoy Champions League. We know very well the importance to start well this competition, and now the players has to rest, to recover well, and then to be ready for the game on Wednesday, because for sure we want to try to start well.
Then VAR. And here's where VAR gets to raise its ugly head for the Premier League. And pundits this past week have been clamoring for the end of VAR as we know it. That's completely and totally illogical and probably there just to get viewers and clicks. But two instances involving VAR that drew the ire of managers. One was Eddie Howe with an incident with Joe Willock, where Newcastle and Crystal Palace ended up at a goalless draw at a plus 245. The other incident happened in Chelsea and West Ham. West Ham chasing an equalizer late. Foul was called in the box as Benjamin Mendy goes down, and slightest of slight contact, and you're trying to figure out, okay, what's the West Ham player supposed to do in that instance? Foul is called, chance for an equalizer pulled away at the end. Chelsea wins at home at a minus 149. David Moyes, when he went to go talk to the officials after the match was over, basically was shooed and shushed away. Obviously not happy about it. And here's his comments on VAR after the loss to Chelsea.
Well, you've seen it, haven't you? So you'll have a chance to assess it yourself. But it's a scandalous decision. Absolutely rotten decision from one of our supposedly elite referees. So it doesn't say much about whoever sent him over on VAR as well. But it's an unbelievable decision that went against us.
Just how pleased were you with the discipline, especially in that first half? Great.
Difficult though when you've got a referee the way we had. So it's such a poor decision. I find it hard to, and I support a lot of the VAR stuff. I find that one today incredible that they give it. I actually think that the goalkeeper dives. I think the goalkeeper, once he loses the ball, is actually faking an injury because he couldn't get to the next one, and he'd made a mistake. I think he'd done the same on the first goal as well. But the referee somehow got that decision so badly wrong. It was incredible.
Add to that the idea that Jesse Marsch was shown a red card with about 25 minutes to go in their 5-2 loss at Brentford at the G-Tech. And Marsch, when asked about it in the midweek, thought that it was because of his viewpoint having to do with being harsh with criticisms involving VAR, and that was why he was given that quick trigger and given the red card to send himself to the showers in the dressing room earlier than 90 minutes on the clock on the weekend. For Brentford Leeds drew Everton in their other match on the week. That was a 1-1 draw at a plus 261. Manchester City kept right on rolling, put 6 on the board very easily against Nottingham Forest, and then they kind of hit a bit of a clunker. They a 1-1 draw against Aston Villa going up at Villa Park. And so here's Pep Guardiola after the match, and he said that his team just wasn't clinical enough.
We draw, so good game. We conceded just one goal in one shot on target 90 minutes, so we were not precise in our touches in the final third in our game, and our simple things, especially in the first half. And after when we break the game, when the game was in our hands and the chances that we had to score the second in one action, we defend really well in the second ball, so they draw.
So no shots on target in the first half. Was that down to their shape and the way they tried to stop you, or I think you touched on it there?
We didn't shoot on target.
Man City.
But we were there close, so not even them.
So second half, what improved?
Yeah, it was a little bit better after the goal. A bit better, yeah. But no, we arrived there. We were not precise because in the cross, in the Gundo didn't get in the right moment. That's just from Kevin. So with the situations that we missed a little bit, and that's why we could not score.
So is it a performance from your players that you actually find quite hard to criticise? It's just the final pass, it's just the final shot that doesn't happen?
They defend really well, so they are incredibly well organised, the physicality, and for the way they defend, we create enough chances to score goals. We defend really well, except one action, so we don't concede much, and that's good.
What did you try towards the end with the tactical change? You took Kyle Walker off, didn't know if you'd switch to a 3 at the back.
At the end?
I think about 10 minutes ago you took Kyle Walker off.
Because he was injured.
Oh right, sorry, okay, what's happened?
I don't know, but he asked to be substitute.
Okay. What do you make of the league so far, Pep? I mean, it just feels maybe more competitive, like the league's taken a different turn. We've seen yourselves and Liverpool drop points today.
Just 6 games, so that's true. So, but many games to play. So we knew it. So always it's tough, and it's not my first season here. It's the 7-1, and I know, and every game away, home is difficult.
So let's run through the rest of the activity in the double match week. We mentioned the Fulham win over Brighton. Here's your complete recap from the absolute beginning. Crystal Palace, Brentford, a 1-1 draw. Southampton, a shocker, beating Chelsea by the score of 2-1 at a plus 413. We mentioned Leeds and Everton, a 1-1 draw back on the 31st. Manchester City, the 6-0 win, talked about that. Bournemouth and Wolves, a goalless draw. Interesting news where Wolves are concerned, they're having to appeal the denial of a work visa for Diego Costa as they're trying to get help after a knee injury to Sead Kolasinac. So we'll keep an eye on that one. We mentioned Arsenal with their loss to Manchester City, but they did beat Aston Villa back on the 31st by the score of 2-1. West Ham and Tottenham, the 1-1 draw. Liverpool beating Newcastle in the 97th minute, 2-1 at a minus 345. And a lot of folks introduced the notion of black helicopters with that particular match. Mentioned Manchester United's 1-0, their 3-1 win against Arsenal. Combine that with a 1-0 win on the road at King Power, a successful week for Erik ten Hag. Early match on Saturday, Everton and Liverpool, the Merseyside derby, goalless draw. A lot of folks had complaints about the officiating in that one at a plus 422. Wolves beat Southampton by the score of 1-0. We mentioned Tottenham's win over Fulham in the battle of the folks at the bottom of the table. Bournemouth, a come-from-behind 3-2 win over Nottingham Forest, one of the matches of the weekend. Mentioned the Chelsea, West Ham, and Newcastle Crystal Palace results. Mentioned Brentford and Leeds. Mentioned Manchester City in the two matches that got us through the weekend on Sunday that prepped everybody for the activity in the midweek if you're playing in the European theater. So that leads us into the standings now. And you have Arsenal at the top, 6 matches, 1 draw, 1 loss out of that group. So they're at 15 points. 6 matches heading into week 7, Manchester City at 14 points. Same with Spurs. Manchester City's goal difference is a plus 14. Brighton is 4th at 13 points, goal difference of plus 6. Manchester United, they've won 4 on the spin. They're at 12 points. They're in 5th. Chelsea, up and down. They've they've lost 2 and won 2 in their last 4. They're at 10 points in 6th. Liverpool has charged up the table 7 points in their last 3 matches. They're in 7th. Brentford hanging in there at 9 points in 8th with points in their last 3 matches. Leeds at 8 points in 9th. Fulham at 8 points in 10th. And it is goals scored right now that has Leeds above Fulham, 10-9. Newcastle has drawn 4 of 5. They're at 7 points. Southampton is also at 7, and Bournemouth are at 7, but goal difference is going to cost Bournemouth all season long as the Cherries are at a minus 13. Wolves at 6 points along with Crystal Palace. 4 points, Everton and Aston Villa. West Ham in the relegation zone once again. It's only 6 matches in. Nottingham Forest at a minus 10 on goal difference. They've lost 3 in a row after their good start. And then Leicester, no wins, 5 losses in 6 matches, goal difference of minus 8 on the year. So let's get you ready for what's going on the weekend. It is Saturday, Sunday, Monday night football. So we got Fulham and Chelsea, the early match on Saturday morning. Chelsea, no surprise, at a minus 125 at Craven Cottage. Fulham is a plus 338. Your draws at a plus 300. 10 o'clock, 4 matches. Bournemouth hosting Brighton. Brighton at a minus 125 as well. Bournemouth at home, a plus 392. And your draws a plus 261. Leicester at the King Power hosting Aston Villa, slight favorite at home at a plus 154. Your draws a plus 249, basically a plus 250. And Villa's at basically a plus 180. Liverpool hosting Wolves. Wolves don't score. Liverpool does. Liverpool's at a minus 370, and your draws a plus 520. Wolves are a plus 1034 in the composite. Your last 10 o'clock match on Saturday, Southampton and Brentford. Southampton a plus 139. Your draws a plus 250. Brentford is a plus 200. Manchester City and Spurs, big matchup at the Etihad, 12:30 on Saturday. Manchester City a minus 256. Spurs a plus 670. And your draw is a plus 440. Sunday, 3 matches, 2 at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Arsenal and Everton. Arsenal's minus 278. Everton is north of plus 800. Your draw is basically a plus 4.25. West Ham hosting Newcastle. West Ham a plus 145. Newcastle a plus 200. Your draw is a plus 242. Crystal Palace, your late match at 11:30 hosting Manchester United. Your Crystal Palace and draw numbers basically the same, above plus 250. Manchester United is a plus 112. Monday Night Football, Leeds hosting Nottingham Forest at Ellen Road. Remember, no Jesse Marsh on the touchline. Leeds -1.25. Nottingham Forest and Steve Cooper at a +341. And your draw is basically a +294. So that's where we are with your upcoming action in the Premier League. Checking any kind of news and notes while we have. Obviously, if you're looking for fantasy, you may as well check out Anthony and see what he's up to these days. So you've got all of the news that's gone on in the past week, and your match week assignments for match week 7 have been handed out. Of note, in the games that have implications toward the top of the table, Andy Madley is the man in the middle for Liverpool and Wolves on Saturday morning. Michael Oliver has been given Manchester City and Spurs at 12:30 Saturday afternoon. Simon Hooper has your Arsenal-Everton. Craig Pawson is in the middle for West Ham Newcastle. Stuart Atwell has Crystal Palace and Manchester United. Monday Night Football goes to Anthony Taylor with the man in the middle. Mike Dean is your VAR for that particular match. And so looking at a lot of action, wandering around at the top of the table. And can Arsenal keep it going? Can anyone catch them? And that's going to be the question, as a lot of folks are staring at Manchester City and Spurs just a point behind. You can't flinch early on because right now you've got 5 teams separated by 3 points as we head in to match week 7. That's your look at Prem and Proper here at SDH. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you've got a favorite club, may you be with friends as you watch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and all week long when it comes to the European theater as well. So enjoy the games, enjoy match week 7. We'll catch up with you next week for another round, Prem and Proper.